Once upon a time, in a cozy little house at the edge of a bustling town, lived a cheerful little boy named Archie. Archie was full of energy and curiosity, always exploring, playing, and asking questions. But there was one thing Archie absolutely did not like: bedtime. Every evening, as the sky painted itself in the hues of sunset, Archie's daddy would announce that it was time for bed. "But why can't I stay up late?" Archie would complain, puffing his cheeks in frustration. "There should be more hours in the day, so I can play more and not have to sleep." One night, after the same old bedtime battle, Archie's daddy sat him down and explained patiently. "Archie, my dear, if there were more hours in the day, you would be too tired to enjoy them. Your body needs rest to grow strong and healthy, and your mind needs sleep to dream and imagine wonderful things." Undeterred by his daddy's explanation, Archie hatched a plan. "Tonight," he whispered to his teddy bear, "I'm going to stay awake all night." As the clock struck his usual bedtime, Archie pretended to sleep. Once he was sure everyone else was asleep, he quietly got out of bed, determined to prove that staying up late was a grand adventure. But as midnight approached, Archie started to notice how different the world was at night. The streetlights outside his window flickered off one by one, leaving the neighborhood in darkness. The lively sounds of daytime had been replaced by a deep, enveloping silence. Archie tried to play with his toys, but the creaking of the floorboards sounded too loud in the quiet of the night. "I can't play. I might wake everyone up," he thought. Next, he tried to read a book, but it was too dark to see the words on the pages. "Maybe I can watch some cartoons," he considered, tiptoeing into the living room. To his disappointment, the TV only showed dull programs that did not entertain him. "There are no cartoons at this time," Archie realized, feeling a wave of boredom wash over him. The excitement of staying up late had vanished, leaving him feeling alone and a little scared in the quiet, dark house. With a heavy yawn, Archie admitted defeat. The house was too quiet, the darkness too enveloping, and the lack of his usual activities made him feel lost. Grumpily, he trudged back to his bedroom, crawling under the covers, much later than he had ever been awake before. The next morning, or rather, the same morning, but much later, Archie woke up with the sun high in the sky. He rubbed his eyes, confused by the brightness pouring through his window. It was then he realized he had overslept and missed the entire morning. Archie hurried outside, hoping to salvage some of the day, but found the neighborhood kids returning from their morning adventures. He had missed playing with his friends, his book club meeting, and all the early morning cartoons he loved so much. A sense of regret filled his heart as he understood what he had lost in his quest to stay up late. And so, dear listener, Archie learned that staying up late might seem exciting, but it means missing out on the joys of the morning. The world is designed in such a way that rest is as important as play. By going to bed on time, we ensure we are ready and energized to enjoy the new adventures each day brings. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off to sleep, remember that a good night's rest will help you wake up fresh and full of energy, ready to explore and enjoy all the wonderful things the world has to offer. Sweet dreams, until the morning light greets us with new possibilities. Once upon a time, in a sunny little village, filled with flowers and laughter, there lived a curious little girl named Jade. Jade was fascinated by all creatures great and small, from the tiniest ants, marching in a line, to the fluffiest caterpillars, munching on leaves. She loved every creature, every bug, and every bird, except for one: bees. Jade couldn't stand the way bees buzzed around, and the thought of them stinging her made her shudder. She much preferred the gentle ladybirds and the soft, fluffy caterpillars. One bright afternoon, while Jade was sitting at her desk, absorbed in her homework, a buzzing sound filled the room. A bee had found its way into her home. With a loud yelp, Jade jumped up and dashed to find her mummy, but the bee seemed to follow her every step. In a flurry of panic, Jade darted behind the sofa, ducked behind doors, and zigzagged around chairs. But the bee persisted, buzzing curiously around her. Finding herself cornered with nowhere left to hide, Jade curled up into a ball, tucking her legs into her hands and hiding her face. Tears began to well up in her eyes as she braced for the sting she was sure was coming. Just then, the bee gently settled on her jumper, and Jade held her breath. At that moment, Jade's mummy returned from the garden, and with a gentle hand, she scooped the bee into a glass. "Look, Jade," her mummy said softly, "there's nothing to be frightened of." Jade peeked through her fingers to see the bee calmly exploring the glass. Her mummy explained that the bee had been attracted to the beautiful flower sewn on Jade's jumper, not to sting her, but because it was curious and perhaps even a little friendly. As Jade studied the bee trapped in the glass, she noticed its tiny legs twitching nervously and its wings fluttering. She realized then that the bee was more scared of her and her mummy than she was of it. A wave of empathy washed over Jade, and she felt a newfound connection to the little creature. "Let's go and let the bee outside to the real flowers," her mummy suggested. Together, they stepped into the garden, and with a little tilt of the glass, the bee flew out, buzzing happily towards a bed of flowers. Jade watched it go, feeling a mix of relief and wonder. And so, dear listener, Jade learned an important lesson that day. Sometimes the things we fear are not out to harm us, but are simply misunderstood. By looking beyond our fears, we can discover the beauty in all creatures and learn that they are often more scared of us than we are of them. Good night, little dreamer. As you close your eyes and drift into sleep, remember that kindness and understanding can turn fear into friendship. May your dreams be filled with the beauty of all creatures, great and small, buzzing bees included. Once upon a time, in a little town filled with rows of cozy houses and gardens brimming with life, there lived a thoughtful little boy named Bert. One crisp autumn morning, Bert watched as his granddad, with steady hands and a warm smile, raked up fallen leaves from their garden. The trees stood bare against the sky, their branches like outstretched arms, and Bert was struck by a sudden thought.
If the leaves fall off the trees, surely they must be cold. Why don't they wear jumpers?
Bert pondered, his young mind filled with concern. With determination in his steps, he ran to his grandma and asked her to knit the biggest jumper she could. Bert's grandma, with a twinkle in her eye, chuckled and said, "Bert, you're not that big yet." But Bert quickly explained that it wasn't for him, but for the trees, to keep them warm, since they had lost all of their leaves. His grandma gently explained that the trees would be fine without a jumper and not to worry. However, Bert's worry did not fade away. On his way home, he noticed a tree that had fallen in the park.
"Oh no,"
he thought, his concern deepening.
"It must be because they're so cold."
That night, after everyone had gone to bed, Bert took action. With all the determination a little boy could muster, he pulled the duvet off his bed and tried to drag it outside to the tree in his garden. Just as he was struggling with the door, his daddy woke up and found him. "Bert, what are you doing?" he asked, surprised. Bert, with earnest eyes, explained his plan to keep the trees warm. His daddy couldn't help but laugh, not in mockery, but in amusement at Bert's big heart. He sat Bert down and explained gently that trees can't feel the cold like people do. Instead, they drop their leaves in a process similar to hibernation, preparing themselves to grow new leaves in the spring. To illustrate his point, he showed Bert pictures of trees beautifully covered in snow, standing tall and strong despite the cold. Bert listened intently, but still wasn't quite convinced. Seeing this, his daddy had an idea. Together, they went outside, and with a caring smile, his daddy helped Bert place a woolly hat on top of one of the trees in their garden. Looking up at the tree, now donning its new hat, Bert felt a wave of happiness and satisfaction. And so, dear listener, Bert learned that while trees don't need jumpers to keep warm, caring for nature and all its creatures is a beautiful thing. Our planet has its own ways of protecting and renewing itself, but our love and respect for it make the world a better place. Good night, little dreamer. As you snuggle under your duvet, remember that caring for others, whether they're trees, animals, or people, is a wonderful quality. Dream of a world where kindness touches every corner, and wake up ready to spread joy and love. Sweet dreams, until the sun rises to greet another day of adventure and discovery. Once upon a time, in a quaint little beach town nestled by the sparkling sea, a peculiar mystery had the townsfolk buzzing with curiosity. Every morning, as the sun stretched its golden fingers across the sky, the residents would find mysterious bum prints scattered along the sandy shore. These curious markings sparked a wave of wild speculation among the townspeople, with stories ranging from secretive mermaids to nocturnal beach monsters. In this town lived a spirited young boy named Andy. Andy was an early riser, always eager to embrace the day with open arms and a heart full of adventure. Each morning, Andy would wake up before the sun, rush to the beach with his trusty dog Buster, and play in the sand until the horizon glowed with the light of dawn. Andy's playful antics were simple. He would sit and roll around in the sand, creating shapes and imprints with his bum. Laughing and joking with Buster as the waves sang their morning song. To Andy, it was just a bit of fun, a way to start his day with joy and laughter. But to the town, it was a mystery that sparked imagination and curiosity in everyone's heart. The rumours of the bum prints grew wilder and more elaborate with each passing day. Some said they were messages from another world, while others believed they were signs of an impending visit from a legendary sea creature. The town buzzed with theories and tales, each more fantastical than the last. One morning, as the sun rose and painted the sky in shades of pink and orange, the mayor decided it was time to unveil the mystery. Gathering the townsfolk to the beach, they waited for the culprit to reveal themselves. As As Andy arrived for his morning ritual, the crowd gasped in surprise. There, in the flesh, was the beach bum, a young boy and his dog, innocent and unaware of the legend they had created. With a sheepish grin, Andy explained his morning adventures, and the crowd erupted into laughter. The mystery that had captured the town's imagination was, in fact, a young boy's playful start to the day. And so, dear listener, Andy and his bum prints taught the town a valuable lesson about curiosity and imagination. Sometimes the simplest explanations are behind the most mysterious events, but it's our sense of wonder that makes life truly enchanting. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off to sleep, let your imagination roam free, exploring the endless possibilities of each new day. Dream of playful adventures on sandy shores and wake up ready to create your own joyful mystery. Once upon a time, in a bustling little town filled with cobblestone streets and friendly faces, there lived a lively girl named Shauna. Known for her boundless energy and her bright red scooter, Shauna was a familiar sight. Zooming through the market and circling the town square with unmatched enthusiasm. One bright morning, Shauna's adventure took a new turn. Her mum, who ran the local post office, entrusted her with delivering important messages around town. "This is a big responsibility," her mum said, handing Shauna a bag full of envelopes. Shauna's chest swelled with pride at the thought of her important mission. Helmet on and bag secured, Shauna set off, her scooter's wheels humming happily on the cobblestones. Her first stop was at the baker's, where amidst the heavenly scent of fresh bread, Shauna managed to slip on a wayward croissant, performing an accidental pirouette before righting herself, much to the amusement of the giggling baker. Next, she zipped to the library, where the librarian awaited her with a stern look over her glasses. In her haste, Shauna skidded to a halt, sending a flurry of leaves into the library, creating a mini tornado of literature. Apologies flying as fast as the leaves, Shauna quickly helped tidy up, leaving with reddened cheeks and a chuckle from the previously stern librarian. The day was not without its confusions either. At one point, Shauna mixed up 2 envelopes, delivering Mrs. Green's knitting pattern to Mr. Smith, the town's gruff gardener, and his seed catalogue to Mrs. Green. The mix-up led to a humorous exchange later in the day, with Mr. Smith wondering about the sudden interest in knitting his tomatoes together, and Mrs. Green puzzled over the variety of tomatoes she was supposed to knit. A sudden rain shower turned the cobblestones slippery, challenging Shauna's scooter skills. She zigzagged comically, trying to maintain balance, and for a moment became a mobile water feature as she splashed through puddles, much to the delight of the town's children. Despite these funny mishaps, Shauna pressed on, her determination unwavering. Each message delivered brought her closer to completing her task, and with every challenge, she learned valuable lessons about responsibility, resilience, and the joy of spreading smiles around her town. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Shauna returned home, her mission accomplished and her heart full of stories. Her mum listened with laughter and pride, praising Shauna's perseverance and her ability to bring laughter and lightness to the day's duties. And so, dear listener, Shauna's adventure taught her not just about the importance of responsibility and trust, but also about the unexpected joy that can come from life's little mishaps. With a sense of accomplishment and a good dose of humour, she showed that every day is an adventure worth embarking on, even with a few funny slips and slides along the way. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off into dreams, may you find joy in the journey and laughter in the learning. Remember that every mishap is just a part of the great adventure of life. Sweet dreams, until the morning brings a new day, filled with its own stories and smiles. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between rolling hills and whispering woods, there lived a little girl named Cara. Cara had a vivid imagination and loved nothing more than to play tea parties with her collection of dolls. She would spread out a blanket in the garden, line up her dolls, and serve them the finest pretend tea in the land, chatting and giggling as if they were at the grandest tea party ever had. For Cara's birthday, her granddad, whom she lovingly called Pops, had a special surprise. He gave her a beautiful, real tea set, painted with delicate flowers and trimmed in gold. Cara's eyes sparkled with joy as she unwrapped her gift, and Pops, with a gentle smile, sat down on the floor beside her. Together, they filled the tiny teapot with water, because Cara was still too little for real tea, and shared a splendid tea party, sipping water and sharing stories. It was a simple moment, but for Cara, it was a memory that would warm her heart for years to come. As Cara grew, her love for tea parties never waned. She cherished that birthday tea set and the memories of her tea parties with Pops. Over the years, her passion blossomed into a dream, and that dream guided her towards a future she had always imagined. Many years later, Cara's dream came to life in the form of a quaint little tea shop nestled on the corner of the town's bustling main street, with windows that sparkled in the sunlight and a door that always seemed to welcome you in. Cara's tea shop was a place of warmth and joy. She named it Pops, in loving memory of her granddad, who had shared those precious tea parties with her on the floor, sipping water from her first ever tea set. Pops became more than just a tea shop. It was a haven for those seeking comfort, warmth, and a moment of peace. The shelves were lined with an array of teapots and cups, each with its own story, and the air was always filled with the soothing aroma of brewing tea. Customers would come in to escape the hustle and bustle of daily life, finding solace in a nice cup of tea, just as Cara had once found joy in her tea parties with her dolls and Pops. And so, dear listener, Cara's story teaches us the beauty of simple joys and the lasting impact of love and kindness. From tea parties with dolls to sharing real tea with loved ones, it's the warmth of these moments that truly enriches our lives. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off to sleep, may you dream of cozy tea parties and the joy of sharing moments with those you love. Remember, the simplest pleasures often hold the deepest meanings. Sweet dreams, until the morning invites us to create more precious memories. Once upon a time, in a village, wrapped in the embrace of lush green hills and whispering winds, lived a little girl named Chiya. Chiya's grandmother owned a magical garden, a place of wonder and beauty, where flowers bloomed in every colour imaginable, and the air was always filled with the sweet scent of jasmine and roses. But among all the marvels in the garden, there was one that held Chiya's heart. A mysterious silver lotus, hidden away at the back of a tranquil pond. Chiya's grandmother told her that the silver lotus was special, a treasure beyond measure, and warned her never to get too close, lest it cease to bloom. So, Chiya would sit by the pond for hours, watching from a distance as dragonflies danced upon its metallic petals, and the sun cast dazzling reflections upon the water. The lotus seemed to possess a magic all of its own, enchanting Chiya with its serene beauty. Years passed, and the seasons changed, weaving their tales of time across the garden. Chiya grew from a curious child into a young woman, carrying with her the memories of the garden and its silver guardian. When her grandmother passed, Chiya inherited the home and the garden that had once been a backdrop to her childhood dreams. The garden, once a tapestry of vibrant life, had become overgrown and wild, its secret hidden beneath a blanket of weeds and forgotten whispers. Chiya, now the keeper of this green sanctuary, ventured out to breathe life back into its heart. As she cleared the weeds and nurtured the soil, memories of her grandmother and the countless hours spent in the garden flooded back, guiding her hands. Then, amidst the tangle of green and the passage of time, Chiya remembered the silver lotus. With a mix of apprehension and excitement, she made her way to the pond, now obscured by years of neglect. Pulling back the curtain of green, she caught her breath at the sight before her. There, amidst the lily pads and the clear water, bloomed the silver lotus, untouched by time, casting beautiful reflections on the water's surface, just as it had in her childhood. In that moment, a realization dawned on Chiya. The lotus wasn't real. It was a cleverly crafted piece, a testament to her grandmother's love for beauty and mystery. Yet, its magic was no less diminished. The silver lotus, with its eternal bloom, was a symbol of enduring love and the magic woven into the fabric of everyday life. Eager to share this legacy, Chiya called her children to the garden, telling them the tale of the silver lotus. With wide eyes and eager hearts, they watched from afar, captivated by the story and the shimmering beauty of the lotus. It was a moment of connection, a link between generations, a sharing of wonder and imagination. And so, dear listener, the story of the silver lotus teaches us that magic can be found in the most unexpected places, and that the true beauty of a treasure lies not in its reality, but in the love and stories it inspires. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off to sleep, may you dream of enchanted gardens and silver lotuses. And remember that the magic of love and memory is the most precious magic of all. Once upon a time, in a cozy little house on a quiet street, there lived a grumpy cat named Oska. Oska was known for his short temper and his disdain for being played with. He preferred to spend his days lounging in sunbeams, napping in secluded corners, and watching the world go by from the safety of his favourite windowsill. The idea of play was beneath him, or so he thought. One day, Oscar's peaceful existence was disrupted by the arrival of a tiny, energetic kitten named Pip. Pip was the embodiment of curiosity and joy, bounding around the house with endless enthusiasm. He immediately took to Oscar, following him around and attempting to engage with him in various kitten games. Oscar, however, was not amused. He dubbed Pip a pipsqueak and tried his best to ignore the bothersome ball of fur. But Pip was persistent. He just wanted Oscar to be his friend. In a moment of exasperation, Oscar finally agreed to play a game of hide-and-seek with Pip. In his mind, Oscar concocted a plan. He would make Pip hide, and then conveniently forget to look for him, enjoying his peace and quiet once more. "Fine," Oscar huffed, and the game began. With a flick of his tail, Oscar counted loudly, giving Pip time to hide. Hours passed, and Oscar relished the silence, thinking his plan had worked perfectly. However, as the house remained quiet and Pip didn't reappear to pester him, Oscar felt an unfamiliar twinge in his heart. The silence he had once cherished now felt empty and dull. To his own surprise, he found himself missing Pip's playful energy and persistent attempts at friendship. Concerned, Oscar set out to find Pip. He searched under sofas, behind curtains, and in all of Pip's favourite hiding spots, but the little kitten was nowhere to be found. As he searched, Oscar realised how much he had come to appreciate Pip's company, despite his initial resistance. The house, once a kingdom of solitude, now felt lonely without Pip's mischievous presence. Finally, Oscar heard a soft mew coming from a barely open drawer. There, nestled among a pile of warm blankets, was Pip, fast asleep after waiting in vain for Oscar to find him. Overcome with relief and a newfound affection, Oscar gently nudged Pip awake. "I'm sorry, Pipsqueak," Oscar murmured, a pear rumbling in his throat. "Let's play again, but this time I'll hide and you seek." From that day forward, Oscar discovered that he did, in fact, love to play. He and Pip became inseparable friends, sharing in adventures and games, with Oscar learning the joy of companionship and the value of a good friend. And so, dear listener, Oscar's story teaches us that even the grumpiest heart can learn to love and play once more. It's through friendship and giving others a chance that we often discover the most joyous parts of ourselves. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off into sleep, may you dream of playful adventures and unexpected friendships that warm your heart. Remember, it's never too late to find joy in playing and sharing moments with friends. Sweet dreams, until the morning light brings new opportunities for joy and companionship. Once upon a time, in a vibrant neighborhood where the sun shone brightly and laughter filled the air, there lived a small ginger girl named Cherry. Cherry was as spirited and lively as any child could be, with a head full of ginger hair and a smile that could light up the darkest of rooms. However, there was one small hitch. Cherry couldn't play in the sun for too long, as her fair skin would quickly turn pink despite layers of sunscreen. Cherry often found herself sitting in the shade, watching her friends play games and run under the sun's warm embrace. Though she never complained, her friends could see the longing in her eyes, the silent wish to join in the fun without worry. Determined to make Cherry's wish come true, her friends concocted a plan. They searched through their parents' closets, borrowing a big floppy hat and a pair of glamorous sunglasses, and even found a colourful umbrella to shield Cherry from the sun's rays. With their treasures in hand, they surprised Cherry one sunny afternoon. "Ta-da!" they exclaimed, presenting Cherry with her new sun-safe accessories. With a mixture of surprise and excitement, Cherry put on the hat and sunglasses. As she looked at her reflection in a nearby window, her friends announced with glee, "You look like a movie star, Cherry!" Embraced by her friends' thoughtfulness, Cherry felt a swell of happiness and gratitude. She sat under the umbrella in the garden, the big hat shading her face, and the sunglasses adding an air of mystery to her already radiant smile. Together they played games, shared stories, and laughed until their sides ached. Cherry, in her new ensemble, was right in the heart of the action, enjoying every moment with her friends under the sun's golden glow. That day, Cherry learned that with a little help from friends and a touch of creativity, there were ways to enjoy the fun without fear of the sun. Her friends learned the importance of inclusivity, making sure everyone could join in the fun, no matter the obstacle. And so, dear listener, the story of Cherry and her thoughtful friends teaches us that friendship and kindness can overcome any challenge. It reminds us to look out for one another and find ways to make sure everyone can join in the fun. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off to sleep, may you dream of sunny days filled with laughter and love, where everyone finds a way to join in the fun. Remember, it's our care for each other that truly makes us shine. Sweet dreams, until the sun rises on another beautiful day of adventure and togetherness. Once upon a time, in a cozy, sunlit home, filled with love and laughter, there lived a little girl named Cara. Kira's world was painted with the vibrant colours of her imagination, where every day brought new adventures and discoveries. The centre of Kira's universe was her mummy, a woman with a warm smile and a heart full of songs, whose long flowing hair was as familiar to Cara as her own two hands. One day, Kira's mummy came home looking different. Where once there were locks of hair that danced in the wind, there was now a smooth, bare head. Seeing her mummy without her hair for the first time, Kira's eyes filled with tears, and she cried and cried, unable to recognize the figure standing before her. The world, once so colourful, seemed to fade around her. Sensing her daughter's distress, Kira's mummy knelt down, her eyes soft with understanding. She wrapped Cara in a gentle hug, whispering words of love and reassurance. "My darling Cara," she said, "I know I look different, but it's still me, your mummy. I want to show you something special." With a smile, her mummy unveiled a collection of wigs, each more colourful and exciting than the last. There were wigs of all lengths, colours and styles. Some were as pink as a blooming rose, others as blue as a summer sky, and one was even as silver as the moonlight. Kira's tears soon gave way to curiosity, and then to delight. As she explored the treasure trove of wigs, together they tried on each wig, giggling at their reflections in the mirror. Cara was amazed to see her mummy transform from a princess with a golden crown of hair to a superhero with a sleek black bob. Each wig brought a new character to life, and Kira's imagination soared. As they played, Cara realised that having no hair was not just okay, it was a lot of fun. It was like having a magic power that allowed her mummy to be anyone she wanted to be. The sadness Cara had felt was replaced by a sense of wonder and excitement. That day, Cara learned that love and recognition go far beyond appearances. She understood that her mummy was still the same person who sang her to sleep, who bandaged her scraped knees, and who shared in her wildest adventures. The wigs were just an added sprinkle of magic in their lives. And so, dear listener, the story of Cara and her mummy teaches us that change, while sometimes surprising or scary, can bring new joy and fun into our lives. It's the love we share and the moments we spend together that truly define who we are. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off into dreams, may you remember that the essence of those we love never changes, no matter how they may appear on the outside. Dream of worlds where everyone can be exactly who they wish to be, exploring the boundless landscape of imagination. Sweet dreams, until the morning light brings a new day, filled with love, laughter, and maybe a little bit of magic. Once upon a time, in a bustling city, filled with towering buildings and twinkling lights, there lived a little boy named Cody and his mummy. Cody was a bright-eyed boy with a heart full of dreams and a curious mind that wandered about the world beyond his city. Each year, Cody looked forward to the holidays he spent with his daddy, who took him on exciting adventures to far-off places. They explored ancient ruins, swam in crystal-clear waters, and trekked through lush jungles teeming with life. One evening, as Cody and his mummy sat together in their cozy apartment, Cody asked,
Mummy, why don't we go on special holidays like Daddy and I do?
His question hung in the air, filled with innocent curiosity, but heavy with unspoken longing. Cody's mummy looked into his hopeful eyes, and her heart ached. She wished more than anything to give Cody the world, but their modest means made it difficult to afford such grand adventures. Yet, in that moment, she made a silent promise to herself and to Cody to create a holiday so special it would be remembered forever. With a spark of creativity and a dash of determination, Cody's mummy set out to transform their small apartment balcony into a magical holiday destination. She hung colourful lights that twinkled like distant stars and draped sheets around the railings to create a cosy tent that fluttered gently in the breeze. Inside, she laid out soft cushions and blankets, creating a snug haven where the city's hustle and bustle faded away. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the city lights began to sparkle, Cody's mummy revealed her surprise. "Welcome to our balcony holiday," she announced with a wide smile. Cody's eyes lit up with wonder as he stepped into their transformed balcony. Together, they grilled hot dogs on a portable stove, just like they might have on a camping adventure, and shared stories and laughter under the canopy of their makeshift tent. As night fell, they lay back on their cushions, gazing up at the stars that glittered above the city's silhouette. Cody's mummy pointed out constellations and told tales of adventurers and explorers who had travelled the skies. The world felt vast and magical, and Cody realised that adventures could be found in the most unexpected places. That balcony holiday became one of Cody's most cherished memories. It was a night where love and imagination turned the ordinary into the extraordinary. Cody is not defined by how far you travel or how much you spend, but by the moments you share and the magic you create together. And so, dear listener, the story of Cody and his mummy's balcony holiday teaches us that adventure and wonder can be found right where we are, with a little creativity and a lot of love. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off to sleep, may you dream of magical holidays, whether they're on a distant shore or just outside your door. Remember, it's not where you go, but who we're with, and the memories we make that truly make a holiday special. Sweet dreams, until the morning brings a new day full of possibilities for adventure and joy. Once upon a time, in a small town filled with winding paths and lush green parks, there lived a playful puppy named Ralph. Ralph was an adventurous soul with a passion for one thing in particular: sticks. Big sticks, small sticks, crooked sticks, and straight sticks. He loved them all. Every time he and his owner went for a walk, Ralph's eyes would sparkle with excitement at the prospect of adding a new stick to his ever-growing collection. One bright and sunny day, while exploring the edges of their favourite park, Ralph stumbled upon the most amazing stick he had ever seen. It was unlike any other stick in his collection. It was colourful, straight, and had a smooth, polished feel. Ralph was overjoyed. With his tail wagging like a little propeller, he proudly carried his new prize all the way home and placed it in the garden with his other treasures. He couldn't wait to tell all of his friends about his incredible find. That evening, Ralph's home was abuzz with excitement as he shared stories of his adventures and his amazing new stick. However, their joy was interrupted by a knock at the door. Ralph's owner opened it to find their neighbour, an elderly gentleman with a kind smile, who seemed a bit troubled.
I'm sorry to bother you,
the neighbour said,
but I seem to have misplaced my walking stick. Have you seen it, by any chance?
Ralph's ears perked up at the mention of a walking stick. With a sinking feeling, he realised that his new special stick was, in fact, not a stick at all, but his neighbour's missing walking stick. Feeling a mix of embarrassment and disappointment, Ralph led his owner and the neighbour to his collection in the garden, and, with a gentle nudge of his nose, dug out the colourful, straight object to return it. The neighbour, upon seeing his walking stick in the midst of Ralph's collection, let out a chuckle. He wasn't upset. Instead, he seemed amused by Ralph's innocent mistake. Patting Ralph on the head, he said,
Well, I've never seen anyone as fond of sticks as you, Ralph.
Then, with a twinkle in his eye, he showed Ralph and his owner a surprise. The walking stick was extendable, designed to be adjustable for comfort. The neighbour explained that he never used the extending part of the stick and preferred it at its shortest length. With a thoughtful gesture, he unscrewed the extender and handed it to Ralph.
Here, this can be your special stick. I think you'll take good care of it,
he said with a smile. Ralph's tail wagged uncontrollably as he accepted the gift. Though it wasn't quite like finding a stick of his own, this stick was special in a new way. It was a gift of friendship and understanding. And so, dear listener, Ralph learned that sometimes mistakes can lead to unexpected kindness and new friendships. He had a new special stick to add to his collection, but more importantly, he had created a special bond with his neighbour. Good night, little dreamer. As you drift off to sleep, may you dream of adventures and discoveries of friendship and understanding. Remember, it's the stories behind our treasures that truly make them special. Sweet dreams, until the morning light brings a new day full of possibilities.